Hello, you glorious over 3,000 people and the 83 people, 83% who have yet to subscribe. Today is a good day. Today we're going to be looking at my faction, the Cities of Sigmar. We're going to be going through everything from their battle traits, enhancements, all the way through every war scroll. And we're going to have a little bit of a talk about what we can do with the Cities of Sigmar. That is right. Cities of Sigmar are going to be my first faction deep dive. So we're going to be having a real good look. FYI, I haven't actually looked at these yet. So we're going to be doing this together. I've seen no real leaks. I've seen a few points leaks and stuff. But Cities of Sigmar seem to be one of the factions that didn't really get leaked in any meaningful way. So we're just going to have a little look-see and we're going to go through it, okay? Right, so obviously we got a nice little book. So we could probably print this out and potentially get this as a nice little book. So we've got our first page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this slightly smaller so they fit in the screen. There you go. That's a little bit better. So we've got our battle traits. So we've seen this in the preview, the faction focus. So we're going to be really going through this now, kind of explain what it means now. We've seen the rules, so we can actually put this now into context. So we have a number of battle traits. So we have one for our movement phase, in the charge phase, in the shooting phase, and the combat phase. So obviously, if you are new to Cities of Sigmar, in 3rd edition, we had an order system. You applied a token, an order, to your heroes, and every unit within 3 inches of that hero got to be able to do stuff. And there was some shenanigans that you could do with the return fire and stuff like that, but essentially, that's how it worked. This has changed somewhat, so there is a little bit of changes here, and obviously some of them have disappeared and now become core rules. So everybody can do some of the stuff that we could do in 3rd edition, which is okay. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be looking at is the advanced information. This is really cool. So we pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar hero that is not used an officer's order. That's what these are called. Ability this turn to use this ability, then pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12 inches of that hero that's not in combat. If the target is human, you can pick an additional Cities of Sigmar unit that are wholly within 12 inches of that hero are not in combat to be the target. So that's cool. So a lot of people are probably going to be playing a human element to their Cities of Sigmar army because obviously we know that things like the dwarfs are disappearing and have already been removed from the store, and the elves are kind of like a sub thing. But there's a lot of benefits here if you're going to be playing certain things. So each target can move 3 inches and cannot move into combat during any part of that move. Right. So first things first to sort of look at this is not a move ability. So you don't have to... So the way the rules work in 4th edition is you can only do 1 move ability per movement phase. This is not a move ability. So you can do this and then do your move ability. So move your 5-6 inches and get an extra 3-inch move. Now this also means that Fusiliers are going to be able to move 3 inches and not class of being moved when it comes to their fortified position ability. So there are little things like that as well, okay? So the next one is in any charge phase, so strike them down. Obviously, you pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar hero that has not used an officer. It's exactly the same for all of them. The effect is that you add 1 to the attack characteristics of the target's melee weapons for the rest of the turn. In addition, if the target is in ALF, so obviously if you want to be using fast cavalry and really hard-hitting units that are going to be really be able fast and get in, and you want to do a lot of charging, this one is really a little bonus there to the ALF units. Adds 1 to hit rolls for the target as well. So if you're an elf, +1 hit and +1 attack. Everyone else just gets +1 attack, which is pretty decent. You're going to be able to look at sort of like how you're going to be able to incorporate that with the Marshal and the Cavaliers, which is going to be quite nice. In the shooting, obviously we are a shooting army, so this is a big order for us. Again, you pick a hero that hasn't used one yet, and units wholly within 12 inches of that hero, you pick a unit. And the effect is, each time the target uses a shoot ability this phase, if all of its attacks target the same enemy unit after that ability has been resolved, roll a dice. If the unit is equal to or less than the number of models in the unit that was slain by the shooting attacks this phase, the enemy strikes last. Basically, this is really going to screw hordes up, because you should be able to kill quite a lot of them. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to do this to big, like, gluttons or croxagores or stuff like that, because the way wounding and removing of models works now is, you're not, you can't roll under 1. Like, that's just as simple as that. But this is going to be really quite good, especially if you're coming up against a big block of zombies or something along those lines, or like a big block of 20 clan rats. You're going to smash into them, really do a lot of damage, and then you're going to be able to, like, get them to strike last, and then in time that nicely with a strike them down from a charge in the charge phase as well. So you really can combo these, and obviously every hero gets to do one of these, like, as long as they can do one per phase. Okay, any combat phase. So pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar hero that has not used an order ability this turn, then pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12, and the effect, they have the target has strike last. That's pretty cool. And a 5-up ward for the rest of the turn. Okay. And in addition, if you're a Duradin, you get subtract 1 from the rolls. So this is a defensive one. Obviously, we aren't an army that is renowned for our ward saves. We do have a way of getting it, and we're going to be going through with that. But this is quite nice. So if someone hits you, you've got a unit of steel helms and a hero nearby, and you really want to hold that objective, you can throw this onto them. They do strike last, unfortunately, but they do get a 5-up ward save. So it might give you that little bit of ability to keep alive. And obviously, if you are still running Duradin, you get -1 to hit, which is not a bad thing to do. So, next things up, we look at our battle formations. So the battle formations are essentially our sub-factions. And these are really important, because these are going to be the things that are going to dictate how you build your army. So, you can pick one of the following battle formations for a Cities of Sigmar army. Each formation grants a different ability you can use in the battle. So they really sort of like influence how you're going to build it. You kind of build into this. This is your sub-faction. So, if you played Greywater Fastest back in the 3rd edition, this is kind of, the thing that you're looking at. So we got the Dawnbringer Crusade. Of course we have. And it's a passive. So you got a little bit of fluff, and then we have effects. Add 2 to the movement characteristics of friendly Sigmar units in the first battle round. It's not bad. +2 to move in the first round. It's not bad at all. Then we got the Ironweld Guild Army. I imagine this is going to be for the gunline armies. Add 3 to the range characteristics of ranged weapons used by friendly Cities of Sigmar units. That's not bad. Now, I already know from some of the leaks that we've seen that Fusiliers have gone down to 18-inch range. So this is quite nice. This is going to be able to, with your move order and this, you're going to be potentially get that 6 inches back and get back to a 24-inch threat radius. So it's not too bad. And then we have the Bulwark Zone, friendly Cities of Sigmar units that have the fortified position. So that would be the Fusiliers, the Big Ogre, and the Cannon. At the start of the battle round, in a fortified position. In addition, the first battle round, subtract 1 from rune rolls that target friendly Cities of Sigmar units while they're wholly within friendly territory. So not only are you going to be -1 to wound while you're in your own territory, which is quite nice, especially if you would opt to go second. But your fortified units start the battle round in a fortified position, which is pretty good. And then we got the College Arcane Expedition. Add 1 to casting rolls for friendly Cities of Sigmar wizards. If you want to go Battle Mage heavy, this is the one for you. For me, I'll probably build either Dawnbringer or Ironweld. If I'm going for a gunline army, I'm probably going to go for the 3-inch range, because that's constant through the game, where the fortified cities defenders, yeah, cool, you know, you're going to get -1 to wound on the first battle round in your territory, and the fortified position is fine. It only really affects the first turn. But the Ironweld Guild is 3 inches constantly. So I'll probably go for that one. And if I go for a different type style army that's more cavalry and infantry with a lot of wizards, then I would go for the Colleger. So the Fortified City I probably wouldn't use. I think that's the weaker of the 4. Dawnbringing Crusade's okay. Ironweld, I think, is where it's at. But if you want to do magic nutsness, then you're going to go for the College. So, yeah, that's how I would probably go into it on this one. Hero traits. Hero traits. So we have heroic traits. Sentinels of Order, hero only. So we have a passive ability. Master of Ballistics. If a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit uses an all-out attack command in the shooting phase, while it is wholly within this unit's combat range, so within 3 inches, add 1 to the wound rolls for that unit's attacks characteristics in that phase. The effect is in addition to the effects of all-out attack. This is great. This is 3rd edition. This is pretty much what you used all the time. If you had the gunline army, it essentially allows your shooting units, such as your cannons and your fusiliers, on an all-out attack to hit on 3s and wound on 3s. So you basically get +1 to hit and +1 to wound. This is really, really good. Then passive, Grizzled Veteran. I like this, but it has had changes. If the unmodified wound roll for an attack that targets this unit is a 1 to 3, the attack fails and the attack sequence ends. That is a big change. In the previous edition, it was basically you can't get a wound roll of any better than a 4+. Now it's basically if you roll a 1 to a 3, it ends. It just ends. The attack sequence ends, which is really quite nice. Now, I would sort of look into this does that mean that if you have 6 attacks and you roll 1, 2, and everything else is a 4+, does that attack sequence end? Is it attack sequence for all of them, or just that 1 dice? I would say it's just for that 1 dice. Okay. Fiery Temper. If this unit charged this turn, you can re-roll charge rolls for friendly Cities of Sigmar units while they're wholly within 18 inches of this unit. Now, if you're going cavalry heavy and you're taking a mounted marshal, or one that's on a griffin or something like that, you are going to take this hero trait. Okay? Simple as that. You're going to take it. And you're going to do that, and you're going to be putting that on because re-roll charges for that cavalry is going to be really, really good. Okay. Artifacts of Power. Treasures of the Cities, heroes only. You got a Sacred Tomb. If this unit is not a priest, it has the priest 1. If this unit is already a priest, add 1 to the chanting rolls for that unit. If this unit is a wizard, it cannot use the spell abilities and prayer abilities in the same turn. So you can't be a priest and a wizard and do the same stuff at the same time, but you can be both, and you got to choose which one you want to be. All right? So it's okay. It also means that if you've got a hero and you want a priest and you don't have a priest, you can essentially turn it into a priest. Passive, the Glimmering. Effect, each phase you can re-roll 1 hit roll and 1 wound roll and 1 save roll for this unit. It's pretty cool. It's not bad. And then end of any phase, Brazier of Holy Flame. Pick a friendly non-hero Cities of Sigmar infantry unit that is not in combat and wholly within 12 inches of this unit. You can return D3 slain models to this unit. Right. This is non-hero Cities of Sigmar infantry unit. So, if you are looking for the gunline army, you could stick this on your general, who's pretty much going to be hanging around that big block of fusiliers, and then at the end of each turn, you're going to be able to bring D3 models back to that unit. That seems like a good one. That's, for me, out of the 3 artifacts, I like that one. That's how I would do that. Spell Law. So these are our 3 spells. And, yeah. So, we don't have many wizards in our army. We have battle mages. We have the battle mage on a griffin, and basically that's around about it. The war chanter is a wizard, and hopefully he still is a wizard. But we will see when we get to his Warscroll. So we don't have a massive sort of options when it comes to wizards. So hopefully our arcane spell lore will really sort of like enhance that. I'm not expecting it. Our guns is where our power is. Spell lore. Spells of the Collegiate Arcane. So, Elemental Lightning. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar wizard to cast the spell. Pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of them that have not been picked to be the target of this ability this turn to be the target. Then make a casting roll of 2d6. Okay? Inflict D3 mortal damage on the target, then roll a dice for each enemy unit within the target's combat range. On a 4+, inflict D3 mortal damage on that unit as well. So basically, this is not a bad spell if your enemy's bunched up. You pick a unit within 18 inches, you inflict D3 mortal wounds onto them, and then any other units within 3 inches of them, on a 4+, you inflict D3 mortal wounds to them. It's not bad. It's casting value 7, potentially 6 if you go for the hero trait. So it's okay. Yeah, it's not bad, I suppose. Speed of the Twin-Tail Comet. This is probably going to be a good one. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar wizard. Cast the spell. Pick a visible friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12. Roll 2d6, needing the 7 or higher. Until the start of your next turn, add 1 to the number of dice rolls when making a charge roll. LOL! To a maximum of 3. So, what's that? You want 3 dice to roll for your charge roll? There you go. So, this is pretty good, but obviously it's only got a 12-inch range. So, potentially the mage on a griffin might be quite handy. Incorporate that with the mounted marshal leading them to have the re-roll charges as well. And you can essentially get quite a nice 10-man blob of Cavaliers into them. Now, obviously, we have seen the Cavalier Warscroll, and they're not great 4s and 4s to hit. But they do have potential, and there is ways of making them a little bit better. So your hero phase. Cindercloud. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar wizard to cast a spell. Pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of them to be the target, and then make a casting roll, needing 7 or more on a 2d6. Until the start of your next turn, subtract 1 from the attack characteristics of that target's melee weapons. That's good. That's good. -1 attack is quite nice, especially if you're going to time that with a nice timely charge, and you're going to be able to get in, and you're going to basically be able to blunt them. I will imagine that will mean that if they have an attack profile of 1, you can't knock that any lower than 1. They're always going to get 1 attack. But if they've got multiple attacks, you can really sort of potentially half the damage that they're coming out to you. So yeah, it's pretty good. I do prefer the speed of the Twin-Tail Comet just because of what it's going to allow you to do with your Cavalier units. Okay, so we got our prayers. We definitely have priests in our army, and we're going to have a priest in our army all the time in the form of Pontifex because she just still is that good. So, your hero phase, Wrath and Ruin. Declare, pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar priest to chant this prayer and pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of them to be the target. Then make a chanting roll of d6, needing a 4. Roll a dice, 6 dice. If the chanting roll was 8+, roll 9 dice instead. Ooh. Obviously, you can delay and store those points, and then the next turn, roll out that 8+. Inflict 1 mortal damage on that target. If 3 or more damage points are allocated to the target as a result of those dice rolls, so obviously 5+ you need, ignore positive modifiers to save rolls for that target until the start of your next turn. Basically, what that means is they ain't going to be able to use things like all-out defense and things like that where they're going to be able to increase their save. So you really can screw a unit over. So that's really quite good. I quite like that. Unflattering aim. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit to do this. Priest to do this chant. Pick a visible Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12 inches of them to be the target. Then make a chanting roll of d6. Okay. Add 1 to the hit rolls for the target's shooting attacks for the rest of the turn. +1 attack. Oh, really? +1 to hit. So Fusiliers are probably going to be able to go down to a 3 all-out attack. Oh, baby. For the rest of the turn. In addition, if the chanting rolls a 10 plus, add 1 to the wound. That is so good. That is amazing for your shooting army. That is nice. That is really, really good. Yeah. That is the prayer that you're going to take in every gunline army. Because essentially, you're going to be able to do the all-out attack thing without using an item or without using anything like that. And you can essentially be 12 inches away from that unit. That is really good. You can't do it all the time, obviously, because you're going to need that 10 plus. But that's really good. I like that a lot. Yes, that is my favourite so far. Then Oath of Steel. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar priest to the chant his prayer. Pick a visible friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12 inches of them to be the target. Then make a chanting roll of a d6. Add 1 to the roll if the chanting is a Duradin. You know, if you've got a dwarf run lord kicking about, throw him in your army and you get the +1 to the chanting roll. Effect. Subtract 1 from the rune rolls for the attacks that target this unit until the start of the next turn. In addition, if the chanting roll was 10 plus, add 1 to save rolls for the target at the start of the next turn. That's pretty good. So you're going to be able to make yourself quite defensive. Now, a cheeky little run lord running around your army, and if you don't know who that guy is, let me just get one. Where is he? So that's this guy here. He's a cheeky little run lord. I've got one for my my dwarf Oldwell army, hence the reason why the square base. Now, obviously, he has just come off the store, but places like Element Games and Firestorm have stock of these guys. So if you haven't got yourself a Duradin rune lord, grab one, because that prayer is pretty good. You can pretty much make yourself -1 to wound, and if it's a chant of over 10 plus, you can add 1 to the save rolls for that target until the start of your next turn. So that's pretty decent. That like Steel Helms get like a 3-up save and -1 to wound. You know, that's pretty good. And it's kind of and I like this. What I like this is this. This is giving you the options of going out and getting a dwarf priest, which is really kind of cool because like that's what should happen. I'm really hoping that is the thing that happens in when we get our battle tome, is when we get a second wave of models, we get a bunch of heroes that are not human, and we get some dwarf heroes and a dwarf unit. It'd be really cool. I'd be up for that. I'd be like ecstatic for that, and that I'm excited for. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna go out and get one of these guys just to run around for the lols. All right, because that seems fun. Okay, so we're going to go into our War Scrolls, and we are going into the big bad lady herself, Talia. Now, she is our War Master. What do we know about War Master? That means that she has to be our general. So, she has a 4-up save. She moves 12 inches. She has 15 health and a control of 5. We know from her points, and I could get the points up, that she's about 310 points. Okay? I will go through her points now. I'll have them on my phone. I should have had them separate. Right. So we know from points-wise, she is 310 points. And she can be in a Free Guild Veterans or any human, okay, regiment. So, 310 points for this lady. Is it any good? Well, let's find out. She has Weapons of Office, which is 6 attacks. Hits on 3s. Wounds on 4s, -1 rend, 2 damage. I have her literally looking at me right now. I love this model. This is one of the models that I really wanted to do for the Cities of Sigmar because such a beautiful centerpiece model. But 6 attacks, yes. Like. Hitting on 3s, yes. Like. Wounded on 4s, don't like. She should be wounded on 3s. But okay. It's -1 rend and 2 damage per hit. That's good. Now, she has the Infernal's Leonine Jaws, so it's the big lion jaws. Now, it has a little skull next to it. So what that means is you look at the battle damage box, which is the first box where it says passive with a little skull. So while this unit has 10 or more damage points, the attack characteristics of these jaws are down to 2. So normally you get 3, and then once you've taken 10 or more wounds, then it drops down to 2. They hit on 3s, they wound on 2s, they're -2 rend, and they're 3 damage. And she's anti-monster, so she's +1 rend against the monster. So that's a rend of 3. Now, There are ways of obviously increasing her save, which is good. We have seen that, so we can, like your little priest, your little Duridan priest, is going to be able to wrap up her save to 3+, and also make her -1 to wound, which is really quite nice. So that's quite good. Obviously, she's unique, so she's not going to be able to take any artifacts or anything like that. Then you got the Scorpion Sting, which is 2 attacks, 4s followed by 2s, a massive 3 rend, and then D3 plus 3 damage. So she can kind of churn out the damage. I'm a little bit disappointed with the Weapons of Office because obviously it's wounding on 4s. And I'd like to have seen that wounding on 3s because she is our War Master. She is no Archeon, but she is only 310 points. Yeah, profile-wise, it's not outstanding. It's not stellar. But she still is going to do some hurt if you hit the right things. Mainly, put her into non-elite stuff. If you stick her into stuff like Varangard, she's probably going to get wrecked. If you stick her into other monsters that are pretty big, scary monsters, like a Scarbrand or a Cow or a Durthu, she's going to get wrecked. So you kind of don't, even though she has +1 monster there, right? Pick your monsters. Find your weaker monsters. Don't put her into your big, scary monsters. Big, scary monsters will kill Talia. Little not-so-scary monsters will probably get wrecked by her. But, you know, that's it. She has Unparalleled Tactician, so she's passive on this one. When this unit uses the Officer's Order ability, you can pick an additional friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Now, I went through this in the Faction Focus. If she picks a human unit to do the move, you'll be able to get an additional unit, so she gets to do this twice. So essentially, if you pick 2 human units, you're going to get to do 4 human units, okay? Pretty good, especially if she's running around a human army. Once per army in the combat phase, lead from the front. So, okay, you're going to put her in. She is a bit of a beast. If this unit is in combat, pick up to 3 other friendly Cities of Sigmar units wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. 12 inches. It does have a range within 12. For each target, you can return a number of slain models to that unit with the combined health characteristic up to 3. So it's once per battle in the combat phase. You get to pick 3 units and bring back 3 slain models. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad actually. That's okay. And then you've got another one, once per turn, army, any combat phase. Pick an enemy monster unit that charged this turn and is in combat with this unit to be the target. Roll a 3+, the target strike last. So this is your defense against the big scary monsters. So if Talia gets charged by Durthu, you roll a 3+, and it strikes last. That gives you a time of putting some serious hurt on that big tree, and hopefully the big tree doesn't kill you. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. So okay. Do I like her? For 310 points, yes. For 310 points, I could see her in the army. Potentially, I can see those points dropping a little bit lower. I can probably see her dropping below 300 at some point in the future. 310 points is nice. She was quite expensive in the last edition. I think she was like nearly 360 points at the start. And then by the end of the edition, she dropped down to 300 points. So, yes, hopefully we'll see her on the table. She is a beautiful model. And she's not a bad Warscroll. So, yeah, 310 points. I would definitely take this one. Next, we have Pontifex. Probably one of the most important models in your army. Right? Literally. She is going to be so damn important. And let's have a little look at her points. Pontifex. Where is she? There she is. She comes in at a whopping 240 points. She has gone up 40 points from the last edition. All right. She has a 5-up save. Okay, it's not bad. She moves 5. She has 9 health and a control of 2. She has the wheel. 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, no Ren, D3 damage. Acolyte's clubs, 4s and 4s, no Ren, 1 damage. But that's not why you take her. You do not want Pontifex to get in combat, right? That's not what she does. If Pontifex is getting in combat, things have gone horribly wrong and something needs to change. Now, she is a priest 2, and she has a ward save of 4+, which is pretty decent. But the reason why you take her is her abilities. So she has a passive ability, a Voice of the God King. So this unit can use the Unbind ability as if she was a wizard. So she's Unbind 1. So you've got an Unbind. Even if you don't take any wizards, you have an Unbind. It's always quite nice. This is the main thing. Your hero phase, Vassal of the Sigmar. So pick a chanting roll of a d6. You're going to need 5. Pick one of the following effects to apply until the start of your next turn. Pick up to 2 effects if the chanting roll is 10 plus. I love that change. I love that change. The reason why is the last edition she got to do one ability, one effect while she was in her territory, and then once you moved out of your territory, she got to do 2. The problem with that was a lot of the battle, if you had some of the battle plans where it literally just cut the map in half, and you had your territory here and your territory there, she never she never got out of her territory, and you never really got to do the 2. Now you've got that chance. Okay, so your effects. So you can pick 2. No, you can't pick 2 of the same. Okay? Let's just say that straight away. Right? You cannot do Cast Out Evil twice. You can't do that. It's not how it works. It was FAQ back in 3rd edition. Just because it's a new edition doesn't mean that you're going to be able to now do it again. It is not how that works. Don't be that guy. Don't cheat. Can't do that. Right, let's go into the effects. The Great Wheel turn. So you add 2 to the movement characteristics of all friendly Cities of Sigmar units if they are wholly within 12 inches of this unit at the start of the turn. That's really nice. Really good when you look into your battle formation, getting and add an extra 2, 3. So that's like 4 extra inches straight away. And then you also have your order, which it's an extra 3-inch move, and then your movability on the top of that. So already we're pretty fast. It's pretty fast for a human army. We're going to be able to shift across that board, people, which is quite good. But that's not the one you're going to take. The one you're always going to take is Hollowed Ground. Friendly Cities of Sigmar human units, has a ward save of 5+ while they are wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Pontifex is a racist. Let's just say how it is. She's a racist. She doesn't like dwarfs. She doesn't like elves. She's a racist. Okay. Bad Pontifex. But for 240 points to give you a ward save for 12 inches, yes. Now, I will say straight away that used to be an 18-inch bubble, and it was huge, and she was so good. It's only a 12-inch bubble now, and it's wholly within, not within. So that even makes it smaller. She's going to be able to look after your gun line. She's going to be able to sit back and look after your gun line. She's also going to be able to do that prayer that's going to buff your gun line. That's quite nice. Okay? So, and she can do 2 chants. So, maybe having her sitting back is quite good. Normally in 3rd edition, I would have her coming forward with my army, moving that 5-up ward save at all times with the army. But that's probably not going to be how to play her. You might not even want to bring her. But for 240 points, yeah, she is a bit of an investment. But for that 5-up ward, that could be worth it. And then obviously Cast Out the Evil. Roll D3 for each enemy, priest, and wizard on the battlefield. On a 2+, inflict that amount of mortal damage on this unit equal to the roll. So if you roll a 3 or 4 on a d6, you do 2 damage. You roll a 5 or a 6 on a d6, you do 3 damage. Okay? And that's on each enemy, wizard, and priest. No, you don't double stack. So if it's a priest and a wizard, you don't do it twice. You just do it once. This was always quite good because you could always get your ward save up, and then you would do this if you could get the second one. And it's quite nice chip damage, so especially some heroes and that wizards that are in the backfield that you're not really going to get hold of, like those little skink priests and stuff like that you really can't get to. This was quite nice being able to put chip damage onto them because it would really force the player into how to get those heals in, and then eventually you could actually kill them. So it's not bad, and it is battlefield wide, which is really quite nice. But realistically, you're probably going to do the ward save, and if you need it, you're gonna do this one. Okay, you have a bit more player agency with her. You can potentially pop that ward if you need it. So, the problem with the ward save now is it's only wholly within 12 inches, so it's not as impactful as it was in 3rd, where it was 18 inches. So you've kind of got that choice now, which I think is nice. She comes with a little bit more utility rather than just, I'm always going to do that one. So it's interesting. She will probably definitely need to get play. 240 points is a lot of points. And I suppose it's up to you to see if she's worth it. I'll probably use her a few times to see what she's like. And if she doesn't really do much, then, you know, I'll bring cheaper priests. All right, so now we've got the Flagellants. Interesting that we're not getting all of the heroes first Games Workshop. So Flagellants, I'm not overly expecting these to be in the next book. In the book, I'm expecting these to go back to the old world for the Empire army, and we'll probably get a more zealot Flagellant-like unit for our second wave. But they have a 6-up save, they move 6, they have 1 health, they have 1 control, and they have their frills and clubs. And Flagellants are Flagellants. They are a whopping, can't find them at all. Flagellants for 10, 100 points. Human infantry. All right, 100 points for 10. They have 2 attacks each. They hit on 4s, they wound on 4s, no rend, 1 damage. And then they've got a passive, Glorious Martyrs. So each time a model in this unit is slain by a combat attack, and that model was in combat with the attacking unit, roll a dice on a 1 to the roll. If this unit is wholly within 12 inches of friendly Pontifex. So if you're going to take Pontifex, you're going to take a few of these. On a 5+, inflict 1 mortal damage on the attacking unit after the fight ability has been resolved. Yeah, okay. Maybe if you're going to put Pontifex in a regiment with these, maybe have like a load of Flagellants around her. But I'm not massively expecting this unit to be in the Battle Tome come when we get it. So yeah, I'm not going to invest in them. But yeah, they're okay. They're all right. They're not as crazy as they were back in 3rd edition. Okay, so we get this one. This is our free guild marshal on a chicken. Yes, we get the marshal on the battle chicken. Woo! Love it. Love to see him. Okay, let's see if he's good, right? And straight away, we're going to look at his points. So his points, the free guild marshal on a chicken, he comes in at 280 points. He went up 70. He went up 10 points. He has a 4-up save. He moves 12. He has 15 health and 5 control. If you do 10 or more damage, the Griffin's Razor Claws and Deadly Beak drops to 4. Now, they've combined those 2 profiles into 1, okay? And it can obviously fly. So, he has Marshal's Armament. No longer will you pick between the sword or the hammer. You now just get 5 attacks. You hit on 3s. You wound on 4s. You get 1 rend, 2 damage, but you do get +1 damage if you charge, which is not too bad. Now, we have no Sigmar's, Cheap Man's, Galmaraz artifact anymore, which is a shame, giving +1 damage and +1 rend. Damn shame. Which is what I always give him, especially on the hammer. Which was actually really good because you end up running around with a damage 4, rend 3 hammer, which is so good. But unfortunately now you don't get that. The Griffin speaks. Obviously 6 attacks, drops down to 4 if he's wounded. 4s to hit, 2s to wound, 2 rend, 3 damage companion. Now he has a couple of things. So reaction. You declared the redeploy command for a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Tactical acronym. If you roll a 1 to 3 when determining the distance that the unit can move, you can use a value of 4 instead. Basically, it gives you a bang out 4 for your redeploy if you're wholly within 12 inches of this unit when you redeploy. It's not bad. Is it worth 280 points? No. Once per turn army, any combat phase. Piercing, blood, raw. Pick 3 enemy units in the combat with this unit to be the target. Roll a dice for each. On a 4+, that target cannot use command abilities. That's pretty good. But is it worth 280 points? No. Is his attack profile worth 280 points? No. Is there any way of making that better? No. Is he got a 3-up save? No. Is he weak? Yes. Does he have a ward save? No. Is there a way of giving him a ward save? Not that we can see. Is he worth 280 points? No. Unfortunately, my chicken is not very good Very sad times. Always wanted to roll 4, but I'll be completely honest, I'm not expecting this model to be in the Battle Tome either, because it is an Empire model for Old World, and it will be going back to the Old World when the Empire army comes out. 100% guaranteed. It has rules in the good faction for the Empire faction in the Old World. There's no sign of a new model coming for it. In fact, there's photos of it in the display armies in the publications. So there's a good chance that this isn't getting a new model, and it probably is going to go back, and it's known as an Imperial Griffin. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be there. So it not being very good doesn't really make. I'll use it for now, but it's, yeah. I mean, let's be fair, right? For an extra 80 points, you can bring Gotrek. Just let that sink in, and Gotrek probably does far more work. Okay, so we got the Free Guild Marshal and the Envoy. This is a Warscroll that I was so wanting to see, purely for the fact is that this guy's gone up from 90 points to 130 points. Now I want to know what this guy does that is make him so important. So first things first, he has a 3-up save. That is a save worthy of a Marshal. He has a 5-up move. He has a 5 health and 2 control. Okay, so this unit is armed with one of the following weapon profiles: dueling pistols, silvered short sword, and a mastered forged long sword, and an heirloom warhammer. So basically, you get the pistols and the short sword, or you have the long sword, or you have the warhammer. I have the long sword. All right, I give my guy the long sword. So the dueling pistols, I'm probably going to go out and buy a new one of this straight away. So the dueling pistols is 10-inch range, 4 attacks, 3s, 3s, 1 rend, 1 damage, can shoot in combat. It's pretty decent. And then you get a choice of your 3 melee weapons. So you've either got the silver short sword, which is 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1 rend, 1 damage. You've got the long sword, which is 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1 rend, 2 damage. Or you get the warhammer, which is 3 attacks, 4s, followed by 2s, 2 rend, 3 damage. I will be going out and buying a new one so I can have a warhammer. Yeah, hitting on 4s, that's fine, but wounding on 2s, 2 rend, 3 damage. It's only 3 attacks, but yeah, it's long sword or warhammer. It's completely up to you. Mine is built with the long sword. Okay. What is his and the relic is a token. Let's see how that works in the in the grand themes. So rousing Orionator. So add 3 to the control score of other Cities of Sigmar human units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Plus 3 is pretty good. Okay. Is it worth 130 points? Don't know. So, at the start of the round, Attendant Relic Envoy. So pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit wholly within 18 inches of this unit to be the target. That's gone up from 12 to 18. Pick this unit's Relic Envoy next. Put this little token, so you get the little dude, the little boy, next to the target. If this unit's Relic Envoy is currently next to a different friendly unit, move it to the next target. While the target has a Relic Envoy next to it, it can be picked to be the target of an officer's order ability, even if it is not wholly within 12 inches of a friendly hero. That is really good. I like that. If this unit is destroyed, remove its envoy from the battlefield. So if your marshal dies, he dies. Right, that is really good. I like that. Is it worth a 40 points increase? Absolutely not. But that is really cool. The fact that you're going to be able to increase your orders out 18 inches, that is really good. That is really, really good. And you don't need a hero within 12 inches of that unit. I like that. I like that a lot. That's pretty good. I will use him because he's kind of a cool looking model and I like the little envoy. So yeah, is it worth 130 points? That's up to you to decide. I will bring one because he's kind of cool. So yeah, quite like that. Yeah, 40 point increase, mental. So the Free Guild Cavalier Marshal, our mounted hero. one of the most beautiful mounted heroes we have in the range. Such a stunning model. So the Cavalier Marshal, Free Guild's Cavalier Marshal, he comes in at a staggering 170 points, which is not too bad. He was, I think he was about 160 points, maybe 180 points in the last battle tome. So that's not too bad, 170. He has a 3-up save. 3-up save, Marshal and Griffin with a 4. Come on, Games Workshop, consistency. Moves 10, not bad. Health of 7, control of 2. His stats really haven't changed apart from the bravery's been removed and control of 2's been put in place. So, yeah. Now, he doesn't have options with his weapons. He pretty much gets everything that he has because he's like got a horse and he can put it on. It's like a Swiss Army knife of weapons. He has a dragon pistol, obviously, 2 attacks, 3s, 4s, -1 rend, 1 damage, shoots in combat. Kind of handy to have shoot in combat. Then he has his Cavalier Sword, 5 attacks, hits on 3s, wounds on 4s, -1 rend, 2 damage. Now, I'm just going to point this out. See that weapon profile of hitting on 3s, moving on 4s? That's what I actually expected the Cavaliers to have. Right? Why they don't have that is beyond me. But, okay. 5 attacks, pretty decent. -1 rend, 2 damage is pretty good. His Horsey, 2 attacks, 5s and 3s, no rend, 1 damage. Companion, standard Horsey attack profile across the board. So his passive abilities is for Sigmar, charge. Add 1 to the charge rules for this unit and a friendly Free Guild's Cavalier unit while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. +1 to charge rules, hell yeah. You can give this guy that ability to reroll charges within 18 inches, hell yeah. And you're obviously going to be able to do the priesty thing on them and, yeah, make him have a 3d6 charge. Oh yeah, brilliant. Once per battle, army, any combat phase. Run down the 4. So if this unit charged this turn, pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar human cavalry unit that has charged this turn and is wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. The effect, this unit and the target have the strike first. Basically, exactly how it worked in 3rd edition, and it's how the Chaos Lords worked with the Chaos Knights in 3rd edition, and I'm imagining that's still the same. This is really good, and you're going to want at least a unit of 10 of Cavaliers, even though they're not as amazing as they were in 3rd, and this guy to run around as your base, your sort of cavalry. I like this. It's really given me the Battle of Taunton during the War of the Roses vibes, where Lord Norfolk come right in from the flank into the Lancashire army and smashed the flanking part and made a massive rout across his front line. This is the reason why I like the Cities of Sigmar army. I can really dig the history that they are literally built on. That sort of medieval, sort of almost late medieval period sort of look to them. And yes, I love it. I love it. Guns, cavalry, shield walls. Love it. All I need now is a unit of archers. Give me a unit of archers, and I'm like almost there in my head. It'd be so good. But really good unit. Have 1 painted. Will be definitely using him. Probably giving him a unit of 10 Cavaliers to play with. Okay, the Command Corps. Damn, this is a Warscroll I was so looking forward to seeing because of the potential of the changes that this thing is going to get. Now, what is this going to have? The Command Corps, I believe, has gone down in points. It's now 190 points. It did eventually go up to 200. So, yeah, not bad. So, the Command Corps is the big unit of lots like individual hero type things. It has a standard bearer and all of this stuff. And each model in 3rd edition had like a different rule. Obviously, by the looks of it, that's obviously changed. But they all have a 4-up save. That is not good. They used to have a 3-up save. They now move 5. They've got 3 health each, which is decent. So you've got about 15 health in this unit. And they've got a control of 2. So the Great Herald, the War Surgeon, and the Soul Shepherd are each armed with assortment of weapons, okay? The Arc Knight is armed with a Sigmarite Great Weapon, and the Whisper Blade is armed with an Enchanted Rapier, and the Mascot Gargling is armed with a Gargling's Bite. So, the Arc Knight with his Great Weapon, 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, D3 damage, no abilities. Okay. The rapier, I love this. I love this. Oh no, it's wound on 4. Oh, sad times. 1 attack, hits on 2s, wounds on 4s. 2 rend, d6 damage. That's gone down. So I'm pretty sure it used to be 2s to wound, 2s to rend, 2s to wound. I'll have to get the book and have a look at that actually. I'm pretty sure that's changed in a big way. In fact, let's have a little look. Pretty sure that has changed. Command Corps. Let's have a little look, see, because the new app doesn't come out until Monday, and Command Corps. Let's have a little look. Yeah, it used to be hit on 2s, wound on 2s, minus 2 rend, d6 damage. It's now hitting on 4s. That's a bit of a nerf. A substantial nerf. It's only 1 attack, so let's put it this way. There is a good chance that that is never going to Walter Wound. All right, so just bear that in mind. It was pretty reliable before, but apparently now, you know, it was too good. Such a shame. It's 2 rend, d6 damage, and it also does mortal. So if you roll a 6 to hit, there is a chance that it's just going to do d6 mortal wounds or mortal damage. All right. Assaultment of weapons, 3s and 4s, 2 attacks, no rend, 1 damage, and then the Gargulion's bite, 4s and 3s, which used to be 3 to hit, 3 to wound, then minus 1 rend d damage. So that's gone up a point. So there's a couple of nerfs in there already, which is an absolute shame. But that's not why you take it. It's normally for the abilities. That's why you take it. So once per battle army in your hero phase, the free guild adjutants. So each member of the command corps has their own special skill to be employed. So pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit, human unit wholly within 12 inches to be the target. For the rest of the turn, the first time the target uses the redeploy, rally, covering fire, or countercharge command, you can pick another friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit and that has not received a command this phase to use the same command immediately after the first has been resolved. This is an exception to the commands in 1.2. You must still spend the command points as normal to use this command a second time. That's okay, so you can get 2 redeploys or 2 rallies. 2 rallies is really good. 2 covering fires, 2 counter charges. That's pretty decent. I really like the fact that you can pop out 2 rallies. That's really good. Straight away, that's probably what I'm going to use it for, the 2 rallies. So here's passive, the Marshal's Retinue. So while a friendly Free Guild's Marshal and Envoy units are wholly within this unit's combat range, both this unit and those friendly units have a 5-up ward. Now it used to be a 4-up ward and it used to only be on the Marshal. That was how you give your Marshal a 4-up ward. You basically had him walking within 3 inches of the Free Guild corpse. Now both of them get a 5-up ward. Okay? It's not bad. Already you don't need Pontifex. That's pretty good. So you're kind of going to have those walking around together anyway. Okay, so once per army, the reaction, opponents declares a command for a unit within 12 inches of this. So we're there. Once per battle army. So it's only once per battle now. Reaction, opponent declares a command for a unit with it, and you have to be within 12 inches. That is major nerfs to this. Major nerfs. Unless your opponent spends 1 command, spends 1 additional command point to use that command, the command has no effect. It still counts as having been used, and the command point spent to use the command is still lost. Wow, that is shit. Right, straight away, this is just so bad. Right, so before it used to be army-wide, board-wide, and you could use it once per turn, okay? And you rolled a 4+. When your opponent spent a command point, you rolled a 4+. And if you rolled a 4+, they didn't get to do the command, and they lost the command point. Now, it's basically once per battle, and has to be within 12 inches of this unit. Unless your opponent spends 1... So it basically forces them to spend an additional command point. Fine. It's like a mini Total Eclipse. To use that command, the command has no effect. It still counts as having been used, and the command points spent to use the command are still lost. Right. So if he uses one, basically, you essentially, if he spends one command point to do, say, a redeploy, if he doesn't, if your opponent doesn't spend an additional command point, they lose the command doesn't take an effect. They lose that one command point, and that's it. So basically, it's a once per battle, 12-inch range, forcing your opponent to spend one additional command point. That is terrible. Absolutely terrible. It isn't anywhere near as good as it used to be. The only reason now I would take a free guild corpse, command corp, is 1, for the ward save on the marshal, and 2, for that double rally. That is it. The only reason why now I would take it is for the double rally. And even then, that is only once per battle round. So you're only going to get it to pop it once. So, yeah, I don't... the only reason why I take this is literally for that rally. Once per rally. The 2 rallies. That is it. Very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Yeah, that's massive. Really disappointing on that one. Okay, with the Ogre, the big Ogre, we like this guy. We've seen him in the faction focus. I really like him. He's one of the coolest models in the range. So, 3-up save, perfect. Moves 5, brilliant. 8 health, excellent. Control 2, brilliant. He has the long rifle, so this is the guy at the top. 24-inch range, 3 attacks. 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 2 damage. Crit, auto wound, and anti-hero +1 rend. Amazeballs. And in combat, he has 4 attacks. 4s to hit, 2s to wound, 2 rend, 2 damage. So the Ogre actually does some work now. The Ogre is a lot better than he used to be. And points-wise, for the Ogre, we are looking at, where is he? The Ogre is 180 points, which is pretty good. So in your shooting phase, you can pick an enemy unit that was targeted by this unit's shooting attacks this turn to be the target. Effect, add 1 to the hit rolls for the shooting attacks made by friendly Cities of Sigmar human units that target of that unit for the rest of the turn. That is so good. So, pick an enemy unit that's targeted by this unit's shooting attacks, so you shoot up to 24 inches, and you pick that target, and then your Fusiliers and your cannons get +1 to hit that target for the rest of the turn. Brilliant. Love it. And then obviously the fortified position, this is going to be the same for the cannons and the Fusiliers. This unit established a fortified position and remains in a fortified position until it either uses a move ability or removed from the battlefield. While this unit is in a fortified position, subtract 1 from the rend characteristics of weapons that target that for attacks that target this unit. So subtract 1 rend characteristics from weapon. So that actually works in close combat now. That's really good. So if you don't make a move, you're -1 rend. While this unit is in a fortified position, subtract -1 from the rend characteristics or weapons used that attack the target this unit. So yeah, it's not used to be just rend from shooting attacks. Now it's rend all the time. Really good. Yeah, I like that. And obviously, fortified position, you're going to be able to use your move ability to get that 3 inches and still stay in fortified position, which is really good. I like the Ogre. I will probably be bringing him a lot more. I really like that +1 to hit. Yeah, really like that. The Battle Mage. The Battling Mage. All right. A unit that I really want, and I probably get because there's no chance of it coming back to the old world because there are no colleges of magic. Has a 6-up save, 5 move, 5 health. Controller 2 has a wizard staff. 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, -1 D3. It's a wizard, 1 infantry. Pick a spell ability that this unit can use for the rest of the battle. Add 1 to the casting rolls for this unit until it uses that spell ability. See, one of the cool things about 3rd edition had all these little quirky little things that you could do. So you could kind of tailor your wizard to be a certain thing. You get +1 cast, and a couple of other stuff. It was really kind of cool. But now it's basically just pick a spell ability that this unit can cast for the rest of the battle, add 1 to the casting rolls. So you just base 1 +1 cast. I assume that's probably the one that everyone was taking all the time. So they just went, screw it, let's remove all the others and just give it +1 cast. Hey, that's not bad. I'm probably going to get some battle mages. You get a box of 3 of them, and you can build like 3 crazy wizards. It's the one real way we get magic in our army. So yeah, wizards. especially if you want to be start casting that spell to get 3d6 on the charge. Then we get the Battle Mage on the Griffin. Kind of might be nice to run one of these alongside your Cavalry, but again, this is probably going to go back to the old world, so I wouldn't really invest in one until the Battle Tome comes out and you see if it's actually in there. 4 save, 12 move, 15 health, 5 control. Has an Amber Spear, 12-inch range, 3s, attacks, 4s followed by 3s, -1 rend, D3, anti-monster 1 rend. It's got his Beast Staff, so he's got 3 attacks, 4s and 3s, -1 rend, D3. And then he's obviously got the Griffin itself, which is the same as the other Griffin. Battle damage. While this unit has a 10 or more battle damage, its claws is exactly the same. And his rampage ability is you roll a dice on a 2+, add 1 to the damage characteristics of these units' beast and claws for the attacks that target the enemy monsters for the rest of the turn. That's really good. That rampage should be on the other Griffin, and that Griffin's no command points within 12 inches should be on this one. So that those two abilities should switch. You know, that's... yeah. How much hitting points is this guy? Is he going to be worth it? Let's have a little look. Battle Mage on a Griffin comes in at 280 points. So he's a little bit more expensive than the other one. Not worth it. Take a cut. The Battle Mages themselves they come in at 110 points. So I'd just take a Battle Mage. Yeah, just take a Battle Mage. Not really worth those ones. It's not bad, but do you really want to put him in combat? Well, actually, to be completely fair, yeah, put this one in combat. Actually, when it comes between the two chickens, I would probably take this chicken over the other chicken, because this chicken is actually probably a little bit better than the other chicken. Yeah, Wizard 1. So we have the Battle Mage on the Celestian Arcanum. So these are all the crazy war machines that are still going to be in the book. 4-up save, 8 health, move 8, 12 health, 5 control, Wizard Staff, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, -1 rend, D3 damage. War Horses, Steed and Hooves, again, normal standard profile. So you can pick up the 3 D3 visible friendly Cities of Sigmar human units while you're within 12 inches of this to be the target. Add 1 to the hit rolls for the target's combat attacks until the start of your next turn. That's kind of cool. It's kind of nice. Once per turn in your hero phase. Once per turn in your shooting phase, pick a visible enemy unit within 12 inches to be the target. Make a number of D3 rolls equal to the current battle round. For each 2+, inflict that amount of mortal wound damage onto the target. Alright, so if it's turn 5, you make 5 D3 rolls, and every 2+, you inflict that mortal wound. So that's pretty decent. It's pretty good. The Hurricanum, Battle Mage on the Hurricanum, he is going to be 240 points. Not bad. A Wizard 1. And then the Battle Mage on the Illuminarch of Heesh, 4, 8 move, 12 health, 5 control. Searing Beam of Light, 24 inches, see below, 1 attack, hits on 2s. Searing Beam of Light is each time this unit makes attacks with the Searing Beam of Light, pick a point on the battlefield within range to be the target. If the score hits, draw a straight line between the point and the closest point on that unit's base. Inflict D3 mortal damage on each visible unit, friendly and enemy, that the line passes across. Ouch. And then he has your friendly Cities of Sigmar units have a 6-up ward save while they're wholly within 12 inches. Not as good as Pontifex. Is it cheaper than the Pontifex? Comes in at 280. So Pontifex is cheaper and gives a better ward save. So, yeah. Our Free Guild Steel Helms, we've seen these before. They have a 4-up save, 5 move. They are 1 health and 1 control. And they have, I believe, they're 100 points for... they're 100 points for 10. They haven't changed. So it has a musician in the standard. They have 2 attacks each, 4s and 4s, -1 rend, 1 damage. And then you get to do the consecrated ground thing, which gives you a 5-up ward save, which is a lot better than it used to be. And it's on a 3+, which is not bad. So that's pretty cool. Free Guild Fusiliers. Here is the Warscroll we've all been waiting for. Here it is. They have a 4-up save. They have a movement of 5. Wait until I tell you the points. They have a health of 1 and the control of 1. Excellent. Okay, so They are down to 18-inch range. They have 2 attacks still. They have hit on 4s, wound on 4s, -1 rend, 1 damage. Fusilier cannon mode, so if you move, you drop to 12 inches, you can get 1 attack, 4s and 4s, and you can shoot in combat. All right? So, passive, Fusilier and fire. Each time this unit uses a shooting ability, if it is in a fortified position, use the fortified position weapon characteristics for all of its attacks. If it makes a fusilier cannon, if it is not in a fortified position, use the mobile weapon characteristics, okay? Fortified position has the fortified position rule, and it has the squire, okay? So the black powder little guy. This unit has a black powder squire token. Each time this unit uses a shooting ability, if this unit has a black powder squire on the battlefield, you can re-roll hit rolls of 1. If you re-roll the hit rolls in this manner is 1, remove the unit's black fire. So you have the option. Before it was like in turn 3 onwards, you got to use it. Now you can use it on turn 1 if you want. But as soon as you use it, you take him off the board. Okay? Right. Are they any good? Well, they haven't really changed, to be quite honest. They've dropped 6 inches. They were 24 inches. They haven't really changed. Now, the big thing, they are 120 points. Here's the problem. If you set up in a fortified position, you can't shoot in combat. All right? So if this unit establishes a fortified position and remains in a fortified position until it remains in a fortified position until it either uses a move ability or is removed from the battlefield. While this unit is in a fortified position, you subtract 1. So you can't shoot in combat unless you've got the shoot in combat rule. Okay? So this is the passive. So each time this unit uses a shoot ability, if it is in a fortified position, it has to use the fortified position weapon characteristics, so the fusilier cannon. And if it isn't, it uses the mobile. So if you get caught out and get caught in combat, and you're in a fortified position, you can't shoot in combat. But you are -1 to rend. If you know you're going to get caught in combat, you can move. Move. Turn off that fortified position, and then you're going to be able to shoot in combat. Kind of have to weigh it up. Now, they are 120 points for 10, which means a unit of 20 of these bad boys are going to come in at 240 points, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah, I like them. They're really good. There is obviously ways of making that hit on 3s and wounding on 3s. There's ways of hitting on 3s all the time. 18-inch range is not great, but remember, we can increase that range by 3 to get up to 21-inch range. We can give a free move, which still doesn't affect our fortified position, for an extra 3 inches. So we could potentially get to a 24-inch range again, but we're not going to get the 30-plus range like we had before, okay? Now, I like them. They're still good, and they are 120 points. So, yeah, and there's definitely scope there to make the army built around these all the way better. So, the Celestial Hurricanum, it's another one of the old world models from the Empire range. This comes in at... this is a normal unit, so you can have these as like your normal war machines, and they come in at 180 points. It's 4s. It basically has the Hooves and Steels, and it has the Portent's Battle. So you pick D3 friendly Cities of Sigmar units wholly within 12 inches, and you can add +1. For basically 180 points to basically have a mobile +1 to hit for your combat attacks, it's not too bad. And then it obviously has the Storm, which gives you pick a friendly enemy unit wholly within 12 inches to be the target, and then make a number of D3 rolls equal to the number of battle rounds. So it's kind of like a slightly weaker version than the hero version, but you can have one of these moving through your army. It does move 8. You can kind of move up with your battle line, and you can start getting that +1 to the combat attacks to start in the next turn, which is not too bad. So they have that potential if you want to get like an old school model. And then there's the weird Luminex Shrine, which is the gun. Searing Beetle Light again. This is the sort of troop one. Where is it? So this is at 250 points. And again, it's like the troop war machine version of the hero. Pretty much does the same thing. So we've got the Free Guild Cavaliers, which we've looked at in the faction focus, but we'll have a look again. Now we have the points, and we'll be able to assess if they're actually worth it. So the Free Guild Cavaliers are 170 points for 5. They've got a 3-up save, they've got 3 health, move 10, control 1. Cavalier weapons, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s. But they do have charge plus 1 damage, which is okay. Devastating charge, so if this unit charges in this phase, pick an enemy unit within 1 inch to be the target. Roll a dice for each model in this unit, and on a 4+ inflict a mortal wound. That's not bad. Now, obviously, we are able to get like a 3d6 charge. We're able to get strike first. With the new combat radius, a unit of 10 is definitely viable. Will it look really cool? 10 of these guys flying across the board with a marshal? 100% yes. As much as I didn't like it when I first seen them in the faction focus, okay, 4s and 4s, it's not great, but there are ways of manipulating that. So, you know, let's just take it on the positives, okay? And the rule of cool, they still are beautiful miniatures. So, you know, I'm going to get more. I'm probably going to increase my unit from 5 to 10. Okay, the cannons, another unit that I've been really looking forward to seeing, mainly because I just got one, and I'm hoping that they're good. So I can have a gun line of 3 of these. So let's have a little look at the points. So the cannons are coming in at 130 points for 1. It's not bad. 130 points. Has a 4-up save. It moves 3 inches because it's a giant-ass cannon. Has a health of 8, which is pretty decent. Control of 2. Now, it has, obviously, a shooting profile. It has the fortified position, just like Fusiliers. So you basically are going to either shoot... So if this uses shoot attack, if it's in a fortified position, use the cannonball. If it's not in a fortified position, it uses grip shot. Now, one of the things I will say on the cannons and the Fusilier straight away is I'm a little bit disappointed there is no inbuilt mortal wounds on the big long-range shots. All right? Even auto wounds or -1 to monsters or something along those lines. I think there was chance for making these units really interesting, especially the cannon. They could have had a cannonball, they could have had a grape shot, and they could have really sort of had that. This thing can't shoot in combat at all. All right? So if it gets in combat, it's screwed. So the cannonball is 24-inch range. Nice. It's 2 attacks. It hits on 4s. Potentially you can get that down to 3s. It has a wounded on 2s. It's 2 rend, and it's D3 plus 2 damage. That's pretty good. I like that. And the grape shot is 12-inch range. 5s, 3s, -1, 2 damage. Now, personally, I would have given the grape shot +1 rend against infantry as an ability, because, you know, that's what grape shot's for. But obviously, the now Preachy is no longer at Games Workshop. There is nobody to tell them how things in the Napoleonic Wars worked. So that's clearly evident. And then obviously the crews have got 2 attacks, 2s and 4s followed by 4s. Are they good? For 130 points, I'll definitely be picking up another one and painting that up and having at least 2. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. I can live with that. Not too bad at all. You could potentially, with an all-out attack, get that down to a 1 and hitting on 3s. With the Ogre, you can get that hitting on a 3, wounding on a 2, which is pretty decent. So yeah, an Ogre with a couple of these great cannons in a regiment. Yeah. I like that a lot. So yeah, definitely going to be picking up a couple more of these. The cannon gun line is the dream. And remember, by the way, that you're able to increase the range of this to 27 inches if you take the right battle formation as well. So 27 inches, pretty decent. Next, we have the Wild Hunter Corpse, which is, I'm actually shocked because I believe that this was a Warcry warband that somehow has survived the Warcry cull and it seems to stay in the battle tome. So it's a 5-up. It's a 5-up save, move 5, 1 health, 1 control. They have crossbows and the Arblaster. So the crossbows is 2 attacks, 4s, 4s, -1 rend, 1 damage. And the Arblaster is 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, -2 d3 damage. Then they have the hunter weapons, which is 2 attacks, 4s and 4s. And then they have the Furious Bites on the doggies, which is 4 plus 4 to hit and 3 to wound companions. No rend, 1 damage each. Right, so each model in this unit is armed with a hunter's crossbow and a hunter's weapon. The champion is armed with the Trailblaze Ferocious Bite in addition to their other weapons. 1 in 11 models is an Arblaster and is armed with a hunting Arblaster instead of a crossbow. And then 4 in 11 is a Trailhound and are armed with the Furious Bites. So it has a passive ability, hidden and dangerous. This unit is not visible to the enemy. Units more than 12 inches away from it. It is affected by the cover terrain ability. In addition, add 1 to the hit rolls for this unit's shooting attacks while it is wholly within 3 inches of a terrain feature. That really hasn't changed from what it was before. And these guys are coming in at 130 points for 11 models. I will probably be picking up one of these because they seem to be quite good. And then the deployment phase, this unit can use a normal move ability even if it were your movement phase in the deployment phase. So you get a 5-inch move. So you can deploy off and then run into cover, which is kind of nice. For 130 points, yeah, I'd get one. The amazing Steam Tank, I'm going to go quickly over it. The Steam Tank Commander, purely for the fact is, it's definitely not going to be there in the Battletome. There's rumours that there's a Steam Tank, new Steam Tank kit coming for the old world, for the Empire, and this is probably going to go the dodo. So it's got a 2-up save, moves 8, 12 health, 5 control, and it has the Steam Cannon. It has 1 attack, hits on 4s, it'll never hit. Wounds on 2s, 2 rend, d3, damage plus 2. Steam Cannon, 12 inches, 2d6, 2s and 4s, -1, no rend, 1 damage. And then the Commanding Rifle, 18 inches, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2. And then it has, obviously, the swords and stuff. Because, you know, drive me closer so I can hit it with my big stick. Right, in your hero phase, more pressure. Roll 2d6. If the roll is less than the number of damage points this unit has taken, inflict d3 mortal damage on this unit. Otherwise, pick one of the following effects and apply this unit at the start of your next turn. Power the wheels. This unit can use a run ability, and still use a shoot and or charge. Pretty decent. And it's a division commander. Pick up to 2 friendly steam tanks in to be the target. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to the hit rolls for the attack for the shooting attacks made by this unit for each target. Not bad. So you're probably going to have a regiment of these, and I would still expect to see them on the battlefield until the Battletome comes, and then they'll disappear. That's probably going to happen, to be fair. And then the Steam Tank itself, obviously, the Steam Tank Commander will have a little look. The Steam Tanks are coming in at 300 points each, and the Steam Tank Commander is coming in at 340 points. Again, it pretty much is exactly the same as the other one, but it has the more pressure rule. It doesn't have the commanding ability. So it's not bad. If you've got them, you know, use them. You know, they're cool. They're a little bit of Leonardo da Vinci steam tanks. But I'm not invested in them because I just don't think they're going to be in the book when it actually finally gets released. All right. Then we have... All right, Glean, and we have his daughter. So they're now 2 separate Warscrolls. They are, let's have a little look. Galen Vendest is 200 points, and Galen Vendest, and you for 210, you basically get father and daughter. Now, they are witch hunters. They are pretty cool. Obviously, we've lost Hexbane. Hexbane is gone to Legends. So I'm not going to recover him, even though he's on my cabinet to be painted. Sadly, I will be picking him up, and I'll probably pick up the other character models as well, because it's kind of cool to have a witch hunter themed army for the lols. So you have a 4-up save, move 5, 5 health to control, spell banish pistol, nice. Range 10. 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 1 damage, can shoot in combat. And then he has his broadsword, 4 attacks, 4s by 3s, 1 rend, 2 damage, anti-wizard, +1 rend. Nice. So the weapons of banishment double the damage characteristics of this unit's weapons for attacks that target wizards, priests, or manifestations. Oh yes, love it. I can see this being used a lot, especially with the amount of manifestations that are going to be rolling around. And then he has the passive, he has Guardian and the Mentor. While a friendly Dolorian Vel Denst is within combat range, this unit has the strike first, and both units and Doria have a 5-up ward. That is really good. And speaking of Doria, let's have a little look at her. She is 4 save, 4+, 5 move, 5 health, 2 control. She is obviously, you have to, if you take one, you have to take the other. She has the crossbow, which is in a range of 18. 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 2 damage, anti-wizard, +1 rend. And then she has a little concealed blade, which is 3 attacks, 3s and 4s, -1 rend, 2 damage. Weapons of banishment, again, she does double damage against wizards, priests, and manifestations. For 210 points, I would take them, especially for the manifestations, because they're going to be able to clear them out quite quickly with that double damage. And if you can get targeted on a wizard as well, that's really quite nice. Oh, by the way, Kairos is a monster and can't hide, and he's a wizard. Oh yeah, double damage and +1 rend. Yeah. That's how you roll, baby. That's how you roll it. Okay, so we got the Dwarf Warden King. Sad, rest in peace. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is, before we get into this, we just need to raise our cups to the Warden King, who is gone, but will not be forgotten, and surely will reign terror in the old world. Go back to your ancestral roots, Warden King. You were great while it lasted. You were a beautiful model, but sadly, you are no longer going to be viable in Age of Sigmar. So yes, the Duradin, the old world models like the Warden King, the Cogsmith, the Rune Lord, the Longbeards, the Hammerers, and the Iron Drakes and the Iron Breakers have pretty much been removed from the store. There is a video up on the channel now if you haven't watched it. And it's pretty much a good chance that they are not going to be in the Battle Tome when we actually get one later in this edition. So, salute to the Warden King and his Duradin kin. Sad times. But if you do have one, he has a 3-up save, he moves 4, he has 5 health, he control 2, he has a runic hammer, 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, 2 rend, 2 damage. It's a beautiful model. Just go out and get one if you can buy one. Element Games, Firestorm Games, they still have a few in stock. Pick a friendly non-hero Cities of Sigmar Duradin unit that is not used to fight ability this turn and is within the unit's combat range to be the target. The target can be picked to use a fight ability immediately after the fight ability used by this unit. Not bad. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, if you are playing Old World, I would get one anyway because I'm not overly sure it's making it to the Old World. Because we have new King models coming. So yeah. Sad times, but yeah, it's, if you want to, it's got the ancestral grudges, so pick an enemy unit in your opponent's army to bear the grudge. For the rest of the battle, add 1 to the wound rolls and combat attacks made by Cities of Sigmar Duradin units that target that unit. So the Run Lord, the little cheeky Run Lord, you definitely want one because of that prayer. 3-up save. I can't believe they have a better save than everything else in the army. Moves 4 because it's a dwarf. 5 health, 2 control. Rune Staff and Forge Hammer. 3 attacks, 4s and 3s, -1 rend, D3 damage. Runes of spell breaking. It can unbind. Now, let's see how much this guy is, right? Because the Rune Lord comes in at 120 points. Now, I would throw one of these in my army until the Battle Tome comes out and then he disappears, because that's pretty decent. Now, it's an extra unbind, all right? You get that cheeky little spell as well, which is kind of cool. And you get Forged Fire. So you pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar Duradin unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Then make a chanting roll of D6. Until the start of your next turn, add 1 to the rend characteristics of the target's melee weapons. In addition, if the chanting roll is over a 10, pick friendly Cities of Sigmar Duradin units wholly within 12 inches of this unit and add 1 to the rend characteristics of that unit. So basically, it's -1, it's +1 rend to everybody within 12. Yeah, he's pretty good. 112 points. Yeah, it's not bad. Longbeards. Oh, Longbeards. 3-up save. They're 1 health, move 4. 3s followed by 4s. -1 rend, 1 damage. Add to the control zones of friendly Cities of Sigmar Duradin units, excluding Longbeard units, while they're wholly within 12 inches of this. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Longbeards are basically veteran warriors. Really nice. Can kind of come with, on the old world, they can come with axe and shield or great weapons. Hammerers, 3-up save. Exactly the same as everything else. This shows you that the lack of rules on these war scrolls just shows you that they are not making it into the battle tome. So, 2 attacks, 4s followed by 3s, 1 rend, 2 damage. While the friendly Cities of Sigmar Duradin heroes are wholly within this unit's combat range, it gets a 5-up ward. They're basically bodyguard units for royalty and heroes in the Dwarven Thanes. The Ironbreakers, the guys that go down into the tunnels, absolute quality models. Again, 3s and 4s, exactly the same stat line as everything else. They have the pistols, 1 attack, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 1 damage. And then they got the Ironbreaker weapons, which is 3s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage. And then they got the Grimoire Shield Wall, so while this unit is affected by Hold the Line Office ability, it has a 4-up save, ward save, rather than a 5-up. Cool. Unfortunately, you're just not going to be able to buy them. And then the Iron Drakes, pretty much, which used to be a staple of most Cities of Sigmar armies. Exactly the same profile. They've got the Drake guns, 15-inch range, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 1 damage. Anti-infantry +1. And then they've got the Torpedo, which is 3s and 3s, -1 rend, D3, anti-monster, so +1 rend. And then they've got this the bombs, so if this unit is not in combat, pick a visible enemy unit within 6 inches of it to be the target. Roll a dice on a 3+, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. So basically you just roll a d6, so you could potentially do d6 mortal damage. I'm not really going to go too much into these because, like I said, they're not going to be around. You know, we could quite easily get our battle tome first part of next year, and then they're gone. So, you know, and the Cogsmith is another hero. Again, pretty much standard 3s, 4s, 5s, 2s. Yeah, it kind of works for the Gyrocopters. Again, this guy is gone too. Such a shame. But if you do have them, continue using them until you can, and then pull them off, and then rebase them square, and then you'll be able to use them in the old world. The Gyrocopters, which is sadly going back to the old world, which is so sad because they're so cool. 3-up save, moves 12, 5-up health, 2 control, has the gun, 5 attacks, 4s, 3s, -1 D3, and then it has the rotary blades, and you can drop bombs. So if this unit uses a move ability, pick an enemy unit that this does not have the fly keyword, that it passed across, and then roll the D3, and on a 2+, inflict that amount of mortal damage. If you played Warhammer Total War 3, you get to do that all the time with these things. And then the Gyro Bomber, the slightly bigger version, which looks really cool. Here's the clatter gun, 3 attacks, 4s, followed by 1s, 1 damage, D3, and all of that good stuff. So yeah, I'm not really going to go too much into this. And then we're going into the elves. So if you want me to do a separate video on the elves, I will, because this video is getting big already. We're almost at an hour and a half. Well, you know what? I'll skim through the elves. So the Sorceress is 6 save, moves 6, 5 health to control. It has a Witch Staff, 3s, followed by 4s, -1 rend, D3 damage. So it's not too bad. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar elf unit wholly within 6 inches of this unit to be the target. Add 1 to the casting rolls for this unit until for the rest of the turn. Then roll a die on a 4+, 1 model on that target unit is slain. So you can kill a unit, kill a model, and get +1 to cast. Once per turn in your combat phase, pick an enemy unit in combat to be the target on a 3+, subtract 1 from hit rolls, wound rolls for the target's attacks until the start of your next turn. Not bad. She is a wizard 1. I don't think she's too expensive. Let's have a little look at her. She is a sorcerer. 120 points. Which is not too bad. Sorceress on a black dragon. I mean, like, it's a sorceress on a black dragon, so it's an excuse to bring a black dragon. And that comes in at 300 points. 4s, 12s, 14 health, 5 control. You've got the dragon breath. So 10-inch range, D3 plus 3 attacks, hits on 2s, wounds on 4s, -1 rend. Can shoot in combat, pretty good. Has crude weapons. 3s, 4s, -1 rend, D3 damage, and then the jaws, 4s and 2s, 2s and 2s. Command underlings. The Cold Heart of the Dark Lane, so you pick up to 3 friendly Cities of Sigmar ALF units wholly within 12 inches. Add 3 to the move characteristics. Not bad. And obviously, add 1 to the casting rules for this unit for each Dark Sorcery token. So, not a bad unit to be sure. Alright, we got the Dread Spears, which are your basic elf infantry unit. 4 up save, move 6, because they're an elf. These come in at the Bleak Spears, 100 points for 10. They got 2 attacks, 3s followed by 3s, anti-charge plus 1 rend, which is not bad. If this unit did not charge this turn, add 1 to the wound characteristics. Kind of like Cities of Sigmar Wardens for the Lumineth Realm Lords. Alright. 100 points for 10. Then the Blackguard, which are your more elite Dark Elf models. Absolutely gorgeous. Really wish Games Workshop would update these bad boys to Age of Sigmar, and we can actually have proper Dark Elf back in Age of Sigmar. These are 130 points for 10. Again, you'll see a trend that the stat line for a lot of these units aren't changing. There's like why are these guys not on a 3-up save? You know. They've got the halberds, so 3s followed by 4s, -1 rend 1 damage, no ability. So while this is within a unit, exactly like the dwarfs, there's no real thought put into this side, which kind of makes me dubious about the whole battle tome coming in later in the edition. So basically, if you're within 12 inches of a hero or combat range of a hero, you give it a 5-up ward. The War Hydra, classic model, 5-up save, move 8. 12 inch, 12 health, 5 control, has fiery breath, so 6 attacks, 4s and 3s, D3 damage, shoots in combat and companion, has its razor claws, 6 attacks, 4s and 2s, -1 rend, 2 damage, anti-infantry, +1 rend. So you can sever one head and take another, so basically at the end of the turn you can heal 6 to this unit, quite nice. Once per turn in your combat phase, pick an enemy unit in the combat with this unit to be the target. Make 6 rolls of D3. For each roll that exceeds the target's health characteristics, inflict 1 mortal damage on the target. Pretty cool. Your oblique swords, which are essentially your sword-touting guys. So you've got your... these guys, again, are 100 points. Okay, your Dread Spear, 110 points. Again, same stat line. Nothing really there. So, if add 1 to the attack characteristics of this unit's melee weapons while they contest an objective. Ooh. 2 attacks, they get crits 2+. Okay. Nothing really to be scared about. Executioners, why do they not have a 3-up save? Right, they're coming in at... Executioners are coming in at 140 points for 10. Same stat line. 2 attacks, 3s, again, same stat line, but these guys get mortal wounds on 6s. If this unit charges this turn, the crit score is 5. So they do mortal wounds on 5s rather than 6s if they charged. Like, there's really no real thought. It's like the basic stuff that they've done to these units. The Dark Shades, which are your crossbowmen, they have a 5-up save. Wow, it changed. 15 health, 15 range, 2 attacks, 3s and 4s, anti-infantry +1. If this unit did not move ability this turn and was set up not set up this turn, add 1 to the attack characteristics of the Mastercrafted Reaper crossbow, so you get an extra attack if you didn't move. Okay. And the Chariots, again, with the pretty much same profile, 4-up save, 10, 8, 2. So the crossbowmen are coming in at don't know. The Chariot is 120 points for 1. Okay, they're okay. It's got 2 attacks, hits on 3s, wounds on 4s, +1 damage on the charge. It's fine. And the big lizards do barely any damage. If this unit charges this turn, then pick 1 enemy unit within, and then you inflict D3 mortal wounds. Again, it's nothing really cool. There's nothing really inspiring about them. Yeah, it's not looking good for the Dark Elves, I'm sorry. The Dreadlord, which is your big boss man on a black dragon, an absolute stunning model, and it's such a shame to see it go eventually. He's going to come in at 290 points. He's a crossbow, which fires 2 shots, 4s and 4s, and does crits. Has the Black Dragon Breath. He has his Dreadlord weapon. 5 attacks, 3s followed by 4s, -1 rend 2 damage. Under the shadow of the Black Wings, add 1 to the charge rules for friendly ALF cavalry units. So if you're going to be within 12, wholly within 12 of this, and then pick all units, friendly and enemy, within combat range, and excluding this one to be the target. Roll a d3, and on a 2+, inflict that amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. Yeah, cool. Like, I'm really... The elf side is just not great. Dark Riders, again, 4s. I suppose that they're health of 3. That's pretty good. They got the repeater crossbows, and they've got their barbed spears. And the rule is you pick an enemy unit in combat when this unit is the target. Roll a dice on a 3+, inflict d3 mortal damage on the target. Then this unit can immediately use a retreat ability, so you can run in, do mortal damage, and then run away. Cool. And then you've got the Cold One Knights, your Darkspawn Knights. These things should be absolute lit, but they're not. And these guys come in at... So your Dark Riders are 150 points. Your Darkspawn Knights are 180 points. And already looking at these, they're nowhere near as good as Cavaliers. So they've got a 3-up save, they move 10. They've got a 3-up health, 1 control. They've got Lances, +1 charge, but they hit on 3s, they wound on 3s. 2 attacks. Okay, they hit slightly better than Cavaliers, but their mounts are big lizards, big giant dinosaur lizards, and they don't do anything. Beautiful models, some of the coolest models that they did during when they sort of updated and brought anatomy into the Cold Ones, but they just, yeah, and they kind of do stand up to the test of time, but compared to the Agrodons, you know, you can kind of see where they've come from. So for the rest of this turn, add 1 to the attack characteristics of this unit's facial jaws while it's in combat with any damaged enemy unit. Brilliant. Yeah. And then your assassin, 5-up save, has strike first, can hide in a unit within an infantry unit with 5 or more models. And then you've got your Fleet Master, which is your Corsair hero. Like, yeah, right. You declared the fight ability for this unit. So pick a friendly Black Arts Corsair unit that is not had a fight ability this turn and is within this unit's combat range of the target. The target can be picked up to the fight immediately. Yeah, it's pretty much a standard stat line. Again, nothing really cool about any of this that's been looked. And then your Corsairs, again, more really cool looking models that come out. 5-up health, 6, 1 control. They've got repeated crossbows, and they have 2 attacks, 3s, 4s, -1 rend, no abilities. Each time you make an unmodified roll, a save roll of a 6 on a combat attack that tags this unit, inflict 1 mortal damage back to it. Yeah, cool. And then you got the Sorcerer on a Chariot, so it's basically you got a Chariot, another one, 5-up save, 10 move. You've basically got a Harpoon, which is 2 attacks, 3s, -1 rend, d3 damage, anti-monster. Passive ability, add 1 to the hit rolls and wound rolls for this unit's attacks that target monsters. And then you've got the big giant Charybdis, which is a really cool model. How much is the Charybdis in points? The Charybdis War Hydra is coming at 220. The Charybdis is 160. So it's got a 5-up save, moves 8, 12 health, 5 control. Fanged Tentacles, so you got 6 attacks, 4s followed by 2s, 1 damage d3, and then the Whips, 3s followed by 4s, no rend, 1 damage. Pick an enemy unit in combat with this target, or roll a 3, subtract 5 from the target's control score. Again, nothing really to be shouting about. And then we get back to the human side. So we got the Alchemist Warforger. Okay, so this guy's 110 points. He is a Wizard 1 still. He has a 5-up save, which hasn't changed. Health 5, move 5, health 5, control 2. He has his tongues, 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, -1 rend, d3, no abilities. Now, basically, Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit and roll the dice. On a 3+, add 1 to the save. So you now have to roll the dice, okay? And you basically give +1 save. So you no longer choose to cast or +1 to cast or to give out the +1 save. You now just roll the dice to give +1 save. Is he worth the 110 points? No. Is he a cool model? Yeah. He's slightly cheaper than a Battle Mage. Maybe. Hopefully we'll get better wizards in the Battletome. Then Callous and Tall, 2 of the new heroes from the Hammer and Bolter cartoons. 4-up save, 5 and 5 to control. Flintlock pistols, I'll probably get them because they're pretty cool models. 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 1 damage. Anti-wizard +1 rend, shoot and combat. And then he's the blades, 3s and 4s with 4 attacks, -1 rend, 2 damage. Anti-wizard +1 rend. Passive, double the damage characteristic of this unit's weapons for attacks that target wizards, priests, and manifestations. Really quite nice. Now, these guys, I believe, are pretty cheap. Callous and Tall are coming in at 230 points. All right. Which is not bad. And they do have their companions as well. So it's not just these 2 guys. You do get the rest of the warband. Which is kind of cool. They got Willie of the Last. So if this unit has 2 models and would automatically be destroyed, it is not automatically destroyed. Instead, 1 model in this unit is slain, which is kind of cool. And then you got Reaction. You declared a fight ability in this for this unit. Pick a friendly Tools companion unit that has not used the fight ability this turn and is within this unit's combat range to be the target. The target can be picked to use a fight ability immediately after the fight ability used by this unit can be resolved. They also have a 5-up ward, which is quite nice. And then his Tall Companions, which is the little warband that he gets, they have a 4-up save. They've got 3 health each. And they have hidden agenda, so they do have 4 attacks, 3s followed by 4s, -1 rend, anti-wizard, -1. You know, you kind of get the theme. So they got hidden agents, so pick this unit and the friendly Callous and Tall unit in the same regiment as this. And if these units have not been deployed, they can set up in reserve in the shadows, and those units now have now been deployed. I really like this because it gives you the kind of sort of backfield type ability that you're going to be able to do. Saviors of Cinderfall, so while a friendly unit, Callous and Tall unit, is wholly within this unit's combat range, both this unit and Callous and Tall have a 5-up ward. That's amazing. And then Emerge from Shadows. I like this. So pick this unit. If it is in the shadows, set it up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from all enemy units. Then set up Callous and Tall unit that is set up in the shadows with this unit within 6 inches of it and more than 9 inches from enemy units. Now, the reason why I like this is it gives our army the ability to basically get into the backfield or onto an objective that we wouldn't necessarily be able to get to. So obviously, Stormcast Eternals and other armies can start dropping down from the heavens. We kind of now have a unit that is able to do that. 200 and odd points for the privilege of doing that. I don't know. I think for 230 points, that is worth it. I think that's worth it. And there, you've got 4 models. So it's a unit of 6. So it's pretty small. So you're going to be able to get them in. Yeah, I like that. I like it. It's thematic and it's kind of cool. I'm definitely going to be picking them up. So, and then we obviously going into the Spearhead rules, which we're not really going to go into because it's Spearhead. All right. And that is it. That is our faction focus. So what am I going to take away from this? I'm going to take away that we're not too bad. Okay, there's some nerfs, there's some changes, there's some good things, there's some bad things. I think that our battle formations are not bad. Fusiliers, okay, we lost 6 inches, but they're still pretty decent. The cannons are not bad. Our cavalry is not as spicy as they were. Hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s was good, but it is what it is. I don't think we're in a necessarily a bad place. I do think that if you're going to play Cities of Sigmar, you're going to start Cities of Sigmar, you're going to want to stick to the human element. I think there's really cool things with some of the character heroes and little war bands that you can bring in. it's nice to see that the hunters are survive the cull of Warcry, which is kind of cool. So yeah, all in all, I'm a little bit pleasantly surprised, a little bit happier. I would have liked to have seen a few abilities on the cannons and the fusiliers, but it is what it is. If you get caught out and they get caught in combat in that fortified position, you are going to feel that pain. But there is some really cool stuff. There's, ogres are going to be pretty good. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy. I like this. Like it. I'm going to enjoy playing them. I'm probably going to be running them on Saturday for my first game. So keep an eye out on my socials. I'll probably put up my list later during the week. But yeah, all in all, I might even make a separate video on what I'm picking and why I'm picking it. Okay, so that is the video, everybody. If it is a long one, I've got a feeling that these are going to be long videos. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. We're about to hit 3,100, and that percentage of viewers that are not subscribed is slowly dropping. And like, share, comment. And if you want me to do a faction focus for your faction, a deep dive, let me know in the comment section, and we will get that done. And I will see you all in the next video, everybody. Goodbye for now.